Sorry about the first video. My camera cut out for some reason. But to check the x equals -6, you plug it into every place there's an x in your original equation. And when you simplify, both sides do simplify to give you 3/2. Now for our second learning target for today, we want to be able to find the inverse of a rational function. And as the other times that we've seen finding inverses, there's really two steps. The first thing you're going to do is switch your x and y. The second thing you'll do is solve for y. So for example 3, we're going to find the inverse of f of x is equal to 5 over x minus 2. And remember, when you have f of x, that's just like having a y equals. So first step, we want to switch our x and y. So now we have x equals 5 over y minus 2. And now we want to solve this to get y by itself, but we've got a little challenge because right now that y minus 2 is in the denominator. And to help fix that, you can actually just multiply by the denominator. I'm going to multiply both sides by y minus 2. I'm going to leave this side. I'm not going to distribute it. Okay, I'm just going to leave it as x times y minus 2. On this side, multiplying by y minus 2 cancels out the divided by y minus 2. So we're just left with 5. Okay? And now I'm going to get the y minus 2 by itself, right? This means x times y minus 2. So to undo multiplying by x, we're going to divide both sides by x. And when we do that, on this side, multiplying by x is going to be canceled out by the dividing by x, so we're left with just the y minus 2. And on this side, we have 5 over x. And now we have one more step to get y by itself. If we add 2 to both sides, we're going to have y equals 5 over x plus 2. If you're doing your assignment online, you would leave it just like this, but you know me, I prefer your answers to be written in function notation. So if I was doing this, my final answer would be the inverse of f of x equals 5 over x plus 2. Let's look at one more of these. This time we're going to find the inverse of f of x is equal to 3 over x plus 10. Again, remember that f of x is just like having a y. So when we switch our x and y, we're going to have x equals 3 over y plus 10. And now to get y by itself, the first thing we need to get rid of is this plus 10. So I'll subtract 10 from both sides, and that will give us x minus 10 is equal to 3 over y. Again, to undo having that y in the denominator, we're going to multiply both sides by y. So when we do that, we have y times x minus 10 is equal to, on the other side, multiplying by y cancels out the dividing by y, we're just left with 3. In order to get y by itself here, we're going to have to divide both sides by the x minus 10. So now we have y equals 3 over x minus 10. If you're doing your assignment online, I'm pretty sure they just want the y equals. If that's me, I'm going to write my final answer in function notation. The inverse of f of x equals 3 over x minus 10. And the problems on your assignment are going to ask you not only to find the inverse, but to state whether or not the inverse is a function. In this case, I know these are both functions because I don't have a plus or a minus anywhere in my final answer. If I had a plus minus, the plus minus symbol, like if we had, if you get a plus minus symbol, then inverse is not a function. Okay. So if we had an x squared in our equation and we had to take the square root and we need our plus minus symbol, that would be a case where the inverse would not be a function. But for all of the problems that we're going to be doing, your inverse will be a function. So just know that you would have to state not only the inverse, but then say, yes, the inverse is a function. All right, I hope these examples help you with your assignment. Good luck.